Hello everyone and welcome to YouTube Tuesday, session 167 with me, Jessica Brigden of Jess B, Creative Cardiology. Hello, I hope you are having a great start to your week. I am coming to you today. We're going to do a couple of simple layout cards, all right? Simple, fun and simple cards using Stampin' Up's Fruitful Blessings bundle. This is found on page 45 of the mini catalog. It's a beautiful fall, autumn set, although we do have some different flowers and pears and things that could transcend the seasons. And I love this because we've got die cuts for all of those fun pieces there, for all the coordinating stamped images. So we're going to do a little bit of coloring with our Stampin' blends today. And I'm going to pair this bundle with our Tartan foil designer series paper. This is one of the online exclusive papers, and this comes in copper clay, and we've got some Lost Lagoon and then pebbled path as well. So you get 3 different colors. You get 2 of each design for a total of 6 sheets, and you've got the kind of the solid foil on one side, and then you've got the plaid on the other side. So kind of a classic design here. We're going to be using copper clay today. Copper clay is the color of the day, and I think you're going to enjoy these. I do have a new host code here for the rest of the month, 6BPNFPB9. If you'd like to place an order and get my free tutorials, then make sure to use that code. So, like I said, a couple of fun, simple, classic layouts today. On this first project, we are going to mix and match a bit of the patterns of the tartan foil paper. We're going to be using both the solid copper clay side as well as the plaid. And both cards will be using our copper clay cardstock. So basically, I took 1 sheet of cardstock, cut it in half there. At the 5.5 mark, I can make both my cards for today. I'm gonna fold the first one here, 4 1/4. All right, so like I said, fun, simple, quick, mix and match some patterns. To add just a little bit of contrast in their color for our copper clay, I am using some early espresso. I wanted to have just a little bit of contrast between those. And to make the cutting measurements for my mix and match patterns here as simple as possible, at 4 inches by 5 1/4. All right, so I did my strips in 2-inch segments. So in order to do that and still have this early espresso layer, I went with 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so my early espresso layer is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Okay, so I don't usually do 1/8 of an inch. As you can tell, it's just a really tiny little sliver. You can see the copper clay peeking out the front. But like I said, I went with the 1/8 on this layer so that it would make my cutting for my designer paper strips a little bit easier. Hi, Wendy. Hello. How are you today? We've got some sunshine here in New York, but it's still a little chilly out, but I guess that's to be expected. Hi, Heidi. Hi, Quinn. Hello. Oh, glad to have some new viewers here, both in Minnesota. Hello. Yes, I hope you guys are sending some good weather my way. Our weather usually travels across the west and then as it comes east, so usually within a couple days, whatever you've had out west, we will end up with here in New York. All right, so you can see how I'm planning to mix and match the patterns here. All right, so like I said, I went with 2-inch strips. So our solid copper clay pieces, these are 2 inches by 3 1/4. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and stick those down. So 2 inches by 3 1/4 to make it easy. All right, and again, we've got just 1/8 of an inch peeking out all the way around there. Ooh, you're getting some thunder out there in Minnesota, huh? Yeah, we're expecting, we actually should have a pretty good week. It's gonna warm up. It might even be close to 70 on, yeah, Thursday, I think. And then Saturday afternoon, I think is when the rain comes in a little bit. So hold it off. Send us sunshine and good weather. That's what I'm looking for. So our second piece here, these are 2 inches, 2 inches square. All right, so this was 2 by 3 1/4, and we need it to be 5 1/4 total. So that leaves a 2-inch square for down here. So if you need to, you can always overlap them just a little bit, but it looks like I got that pretty close. So they lined up very nicely there. All right, that means I actually cut my paper properly. Do you ever get in the thing where you are just crafting right along and cutting quick, and next thing you know, your paper slid in your trimmer and you're like, oh man. All right, so I think that looks pretty good. So that is a fun way to mix and match some patterns and some easy measurements for you. All right, so 2 inches by 3 1/4 for the longer pieces, and then 2 inches square for the shorter pieces. Now we need a focal point, and this is where our Fruitful Blessings stamp set is going to come in. So I'm going to use this gorgeous flower image, and I've got a scrap of basic white. This is like 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. It doesn't really matter which size, as long as it's big enough to stamp your image here. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this in early espresso as well, kind of bringing out that contrasting layer, and then I can use my Stampin' blends to color this. All right, so came out nice. So we're going to pull out the die cut for that. Love it when there's coordinating die cuts. I'll grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and we'll line this up just like so. Okay, looks pretty good. Put my top plate on. Okay, yep, looks like it didn't shift too much. And I'm gonna run that through a little snap crackle pop there. Okay, oops, there we go. Came out perfectly, love that. All right, so I've got my mat here to help protect my work surface, and we're gonna do a little bit of coloring with our Stampin' blends on this today. So I've pulled in a few different colors. Of course, I've got my copper clay, but I thought colors that would coordinate with that. I've got some Old Olive and some Wild Wheat. I did go with some Lost Lagoon because that would add like a bluish tint to it, and some Moody Mauve. And I've even got some Pretty Peacock in here. So let's just see what we come up with for our flowers. They do kind of look like a variety of mums to me. So I think we can kind of mix and match. Maybe we'll start with the leaves, because that's always just a little bit easier. So I'm going to start with my light Old Olive. I love to color, but do you ever find that you get a little intimidated by like, oh my goodness, what do I color first? So that's why I like to start with the leaves. Start with whatever's easiest for you, okay? And if you start with the lightest, there's really no right or wrong way. You can start with the lightest and then add in your accents with the dark. You can tell this one, Old Olive, is one of my most used colors. So my tip is a little frayed on that one. And then you can come in with your dark, and you can add your little accents. Or if you prefer, you can trace with the dark first, and then just do an all over coloring with the light after that. All right, it's really up to you. Just keep it simple. Okay, so we've got our leaves, and then I think wild wheat, it's kind of a yellow green. It's one of those colors that I wasn't too fond of at first, but it really is kind of growing on me. And so I think I'll do my flower centers with that. Oops, see, I missed a leaf. That's why I start with those first. Okay. All right, so a little wild wheat for the flower centers. Kind of has that yellowish tinge to it. All right, and then I think for the largest flower, I want that to be Moody Mauve. I think this is the prettiest color, and so I'm gonna just sort of color in the lines. Kind of going around the outside first, and that way I can just be quick and simple on the inside, okay? All right, then we can go in with the darker and add some accents in there. Maybe we'll highlight some of those petals. Work in sections. Okay. So what is everybody up to on this fall day? There we go. That came out really nice. And maybe we need some, let's see, how about some little berries, some little winter berries. I can use let's use the Lost Lagoon for that. We've got these little winter berries up here. Okay. You know, I think I might actually use the light copper clay on these little, I don't know, what are these? Daisies. They're not quite brown-eyed Susans. We don't have too many flowers here in New York in the fall. Thank goodness we are past kind of the ragweed and the mustard season. That's some of the big fall wildflower weed things that cause a lot of allergies for people. So thankfully we're beyond that. We just have some mums left. That's pretty much it. And the leaves are past peak, and with all the rain that we had the past few days, it is, yeah, our trees are going to be pretty bare here coming up. All right, let's see about this. Let's go with some dark copper clay. We'll do brown in the center on that one, and then maybe we'll actually do the wild wheat. We'll do the yellowish color for the leaves on this, and that'll be a nice contrast to the Moody Mauve and the copper clay. And oh, I see a couple more leaves that I missed. So we're gonna come back in. Grab those in there. And then do a little accenting with my darker wild wheat. Just a little bit in the center. All right, there we go. I think that turned out quite pretty. Oh, look, there's another little leaf. I keep finding them. There's a lot of little leaves on this image. All right, so I love that. We're gonna pop this up with dimensionals here. Okay. Let's go ahead and I want to make sure it stays stuck. So I've got all my dimensionals, and we need, I want to put this, well, we could do it right in the center or somewhat off center. We need something for words, and I was thinking this cute little hello friend sentiment might look nice. And if we do that, then I've pulled out my stylish shapes dies, and both size circles would fit, the second and the third. Oops, let's see. You can always lay them over your stamp case and see. Actually, the smallest one fits nice, and that way it doesn't take up my whole card. So I think I'm gonna go with the smallest there. Die cut that little circle from some basic white here. All right, so that'll give me a place to stamp my sentiment. And let's go ahead, we'll do our early espresso on that as well. It's always nice to use a circle to stamp your sentiment, because if it comes out a little crooked, you just rotate your circle. Quick fix there. All right, and dimensional for that too. All right, so let's see how this all comes together. Okay. So I was thinking we would kind of frame this in a little bit like that. And then, yeah, let's go, well, yeah, that's about the midway point of the card. I think that looks good. And we'll do that. And then we can even add, we can accent with some of our in-color dots and some copper clay here. All right, let's do one there. Oops, come on here. And one over here, whoops. There we go. And then we'll do a little one right up there. Just a little trio of glossy dots there. And it kept it simple. So tartan foil, our main color here was copper clay, accented by a little bit of early espresso, and then pulled in some coordinating colors for our Stampin' blends. All right, so that is our first Fruitful Blessings card. Hello, hello. How are you guys? Halloween. All right. Hi, Terry. Hello. Good to have you all here this afternoon. All right, so the next card, we're going to use the other half of our copper clay cardstock. So we'll fold that. And then this time, instead of landscape, we're going, or portrait, we're going to go landscape on this one. Again, I'm going to keep with some early espresso as my contrast. This time I've got some basic white and our copper clay piece, which was 2 inches by 4 3/4. So before we glue any of this down, I'm going to adhere my copper clay tartan foil to my basic white. And my basic white layer is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And to hide that seam, I wanted some copper clay ribbon, and I've used up my in-color ribbon, but I do have some of the copper and natural trim ribbon combo pack, and this is actually kind of fun because it has that metallic element to it as well. So I actually like this a little bit better for this project. All right, so we're going to straighten that all up. We can adhere this ribbon ends to the back of our basic white piece. All right, just hide the seam with that ribbon. ends behind. And then we can mount it on our early espresso layer, which is 3 3/4 by 5. So when we put it on our card base, we're gonna have a 1/2 inch border on this one. So we'll have a little bit more of our copper clay border. Now I'm not gluing this down quite yet because you guys can help me decide whether we should have the white on the top or if we should flip it around and have the white on the bottom. All right, as you're deciding if you want it on the top or the bottom, I'm going to take the remaining piece of this basic white cardstock that we stamped our flowers in. And this time I'm going to get out, we're going to stamp the pears. So I'm going to get out my die, oh, not the pears, sorry. I don't know what I'm thinking. I wanted the acorns. All right, so get out the stamped image for that. And I thought we'll use the Grateful for You sentiment. All right, and we'll ink our acorns here. Again, in the early espresso. Okay. Okay. We'll keep this close by for our sentiment. All right, now we can die cut this. So grab our plates. The nice thing with these images too, if you have the mini machine, the mini cut and emboss, it will work with those as well. All right, you follow the same thing. You do your base, and then you've got your 2 clear plates on there. All right, and we're gonna run that through. There we go. Love it when they come out so nicely like that. Okay, so we are going to, let's put this die away before I lose it in my mess here. All right, so for our acorn, we're going to use our copper clay, stamp the light, accent it with the dark. Okay. Then we need something a little bit darker for the top, but we can always just use our the dark copper clay. That will work. It'll keep in our theme. Okay. All right. The nice thing with these, you can continue to add color, layer it on, make it as light or as dark as you want, and then we'll do, for a pop of color here, we're gonna do our old olive for our leaves. So kind of doing an all over color with the light. And then come in with the dark. There we go. We can. I love how Stampin' Up! Can make you look like an artist, even if you feel like you have no artistic ability, because they already add the shading here to our stamped images, so you know exactly what to highlight to make it light or dark on there. And again, if you want to go right around the edges too, you can do that. But I always said one of the reasons why I love stamping so much is because I can't draw a straight line to save my life. So So if Stampin' Up! Already creates the images and I can just have fun coloring them in, then love that. I can handle that. All right, so we'll use some dimensionals on our oak leaves here, and I'm gonna just trim. I had a card class on Saturday, and so I put dimensionals out on the table. So I always end up with a handful of dimensional sheets and partial various stages of what's left over. So let's use those up. All right, perfect. All right, so what do you guys think? Do we want to, all right, boy, my words are all jumbled. I don't know what is going on here. I can see that many of you have commented, but it's like text over text, so I'm having trouble reading what is actually there. Hi, Polly. Hello, hello. All right, so I don't know if you commented whether you want the white on the bottom. All right, if we did white on the bottom, then we could add a little ribbon over here, a little knot, just a little knot. Okay, a little knot to go with that. Okay. All right, and then we could stamp our sentiment down here on the bottom. But if you like that on the top, then we can still keep our ribbon over there, or we could slide it over and we could stamp our words. I almost think I like it better with the words coming down here on the bottom. What do you guys think? Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and stamp our words in some early espresso. Okay. Oh, that came out so nice. Now, if you're worried about doing that, if you knew which direction, if you wanted to start out and you already knew that your white was going to be on the bottom, you could actually stamp your words before you put the rest of these elements together. All right, but since I really wasn't sure, I had a concept in mind, but wasn't exactly sure what I was going to make, I took the risk, and thankfully, they turned out really nice. So, hi Karen, hello, hello. So we're gonna go ahead and adhere this. Oops, I'm almost out of adhesive. That must be because Luann is on today. Whenever she's on, I run out of tape. It looks like I might have just, do I have just enough? There's the red line. All right, not quite. Well, I've got another one handy. There we go. All right, so we'll make sure the card opens correctly. Oh, Ziggy is doing well. She is keeping guard of the chipmunks there from her perch on the porch. It's a nice day today, so she is enjoying being outside, which of course makes it hard to heat this room when she's in and out, in and out, in and out. Right? The cats are the boss. We are just their servants, I think. All right, let's see. I'm gonna slide that over here and kind of tuck that in. I actually think I want to trim that up just a little bit more so it doesn't cover quite as much of my leaf. Okay, I think that works. And then, yeah, let's continue with those copper clay in color dots. All right, love that. Let's just put a couple on here. There we go. Just keep it really clean and simple. So like I said, we are doing fun and simple cards today. We're doing a little mix match of patterns, but just keeping it really simple with our copper clay, a little bit of early espresso, coloring these beautiful Fruitful Blessings stamped images with our Stampin' blends. All right, this is a fabulous set if you like to color, because this set, it does need to be colored. Whether you want to use Stampin' blends is my go-to preference. I love the way the color applies, and then you can add shading. If you get too dark, you can use the color lifter, actually remove a little bit of that color. So I prefer Stampin' blends. I know my mom loves colored pencils, and she'll get all her colored pencils and even like some aqua painters in there. So if you like to color, then this is a great stamp set for blends, for for colored pencils, for watercoloring, you name it, you could do it with that, and the sentiments are pretty nice too. So give it a try and check out that tartan foil in the online store there. Really pretty. Simple pattern, but it is nice. It has that sheen to it, which makes it just simple and pretty. So thank you all for joining me today. I appreciate that. It's so nice to have you all here. Hope you're having a great afternoon, a great start to your week. I hope you do some happy stamping. So that's the perfect activity now that the weather's turned a little cooler, maybe a little rainier. And yeah, stay inside and send someone you love a bit of happy mail. All right, thank you guys so much. I look forward to seeing you on Friday. All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.